Hi, this is Ken Quinn, Regional Director with U.S. Term Limits. In this segment, we are going to see how the first Congress understood that an Article 5 convention was a limited convention. Virginia submitted the very first Article 5 application primarily for a Bill of Rights. This debate occurred on May 5th, 1789, and what is very important here is that 54 members of that Congress were either delegates to the Federal Convention or delegates to their state conventions which ratified the Constitution, which means they completely understood the intent of an Article 5 convention. The following is from the House record. I will be stating the member's name and then we'll read their comment and we'll summarize at the end. Mr. Boudinot, according to the terms of the Constitution, the business cannot be taken up until a certain number of states have concurred in similar applications. Mr. Madison said he had no doubt but the House was inclined to treat the present application with respect, but he doubted the propriety of committing it because it would seem to imply that the House had a right to deliberate upon the subject. This he believed was not the case until two-thirds of the state legislatures concurred in such application, and then it is out of the power of Congress to decline complying. The most respectful and constitutional mode of performing our duty will be to let it enter on the minutes and remain upon the files of the House until similar applications come to hand from two-thirds of the states. Mr. Boudinot, now, in this case, there is nothing left for us to do but call one when two-thirds of the state legislatures apply for that purpose. Mr. Bland, the application now before the committee contains a number of reasons why it is necessary to call a convention. By the fifth article of the Constitution, Congress are obligated to order this convention when two-thirds of the legislatures apply for it. But how can these reasons be properly weighed unless it be done in committee? Mr. Tucker thought it not right to disregard the application of any state, and inferred that the House had a right to consider every application that was made. If two-thirds had not applied, the subject might be taken into consideration. But if two-thirds had applied, it precluded deliberation on the part of the House. Mr. Page thought it the best way to enter the application at large upon the journals, and do the same by all that came in until sufficient were made to obtain their object. Based upon that debate, we can summarize the following. Number one, two-thirds of the state legislatures needed to concur on the subject in their applications. Number two, Congress has no authority to deliberate on the subject and must call the convention once two-thirds of the legislatures apply. And number three, Congress needs to weigh the applications to determine the subject matter and may take it into consideration if two-thirds of the legislatures do not apply for it. A few months later, after this debate, Congress weighed the amendments that were submitted by the states and in the end proposed 12 amendments for ratification. The first 10 were ratified in 1791 and are known today as the Bill of Rights. U.S. Term Limits is seeking to have two-thirds of the state legislatures concur in applications for a Congressional Term Limits Amendment. Please visit termlimits.com, join our effort, and let's get this done.